Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning back in. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Layla, the Lenormand reader, and I use the amazing Lenormand deck. Go ahead and download your starter guide so you can discover and master this amazing deck. Welcome to a new weekly reading. We've got the beautiful Tarot Lenormand, and we are doing an extended line of 5 today. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with you, Aries, and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Aries, here is your extended line of 5, and it's a little bit challenging. It's mostly having responsibilities and things weighing on you and having to deal with some things and put up with them. We see this through the clouds, the mouse. We have the bear next to the mouse that can make things a bit more difficult. And we have it with the clouds, and we have the cross at the top. So we have these diagonals here that we see in the inner and outer diamonds, and we see them next to each other in this area. Now, at the center, we have the fish, and the fish is a card of money or work or business. It is about the practical things. And earlier we have the fox, and the fox is specifically about jobs, but it can also be tricky when it comes to people, and we see it next to the woman. As a tricky card, it tends to be a card of deception and people who are working against you. So these can come through this week, and it could feel a bit difficult or a bit upsetting. So let's go ahead and begin at the beginning here. We've got the fox with the woman, which, like we said, represents a questionable character. And it can also suggest, Aries, that you need to deal with this person in a smart way and avoid over-trusting them. And then we've got the fish with the bear and mouse. Now, the fish and bear is normally a great combination. It's great for wealth and a sense of abundance. But the mouse is a card of loss. And with the bear, it can be sort of a bigger loss. So there can be some financial difficulties or some responsibilities or expenses that you have this week, Aries, and they can be towards this woman or this person. You could also be having challenges at work. If we take the fox to represent your job and the fish, being that environment as well. In this sense, Aries, the bear can represent someone like a boss, and there can be some issues here, or maybe you're not on the same page, or maybe they're being a bit difficult this week. So it sounds like you're a little bit overextended and there are some burdens on you. Now, the cross is very much a card of burdens, especially with challenging cards, and we do have the clouds. So the fish and clouds, like the fish and mouse, has to do with expenses or losses when it comes to finances, and also difficulties or annoyances, and also confusion with the clouds. And with the cross, there is that sense of heaviness that weighs on you. So I feel here it's really the burden and the responsibility. We see this through the cross, we see this through the bear, along with the challenging cards. It really brings out this sense that you have to spend on this or that, or you are a bit restricted financially or in other practical ways. And they could be because of this person or because of your involvement with this person. And because of the fox and fish, it's pretty clear, Aries, that the focus is on this side of your life. And it does involve a relationship as well. So there can be someone who's draining you. Yeah, and especially with the mouse at the end here, which is a negative kind of card. It's not a very challenging card, but it does point to annoyances and, things that are dwindling away and that they're sort of draining you. The bear can aggravate the mouse, though. Now, looking at the diamonds, we have first the inner diamond. We have the woman with the cross, bear, and clouds. So this is a very clear message that you sort of have to put up with this person, and that it's not easy, and it could be annoying you and really, I think, getting on your nerves, Aries. So it sounds like this is what you're putting up with this week. The fox with the cross, mouse, and clouds is similar, except we have the fox instead of the woman, and we have these challenging cards as well. So the cross and clouds, the cross and mouse, and all of these combinations, really, they all support each other. And they suggest these challenges and these burdens that are weighing on you. It can be that this person is an annoying person. It can mean that the job as a whole right now is difficult. And it can mean that you have these expenses, or that you're a little bit overextended when it comes to your finances. And it sounds like it's because of this person. So we're seeing a difficult person, a difficult situation. some stress on your finances, and it sounds like there's a lot going on here, Aries. Now, I have to say, even though the cards are challenging, they're not the most dramatic cards of the deck, so it sounds like you're going to get through this. I want to suggest, Aries, as by way of advice in view of all of this, that you clarify your goals and intentions, and it sounds like you could revise a little bit your engagement, your involvement with this person and this situation. The cross is certainly very good with this. The cross is a card of assessment and taking stock, and it does get you to ask the tough questions. So ask yourself, are you on the right track with this? What could you do to improve it? Does it mean you have to put up some boundaries or be a bit more firm about how you spend and who you invest yourself with? All of these could be coming together this week. So a little bit challenging, Aries. Let me know what you make of this. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and perspective. The very best of luck. Thank you for tuning in as always. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Welcome to your weekly reading, Taurus. Let us draw your extended line of 5 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Taurus, here is your extended line of 5, and we do have the whip, which is challenging. We have the coffin and rider here, which can point to some bumps, but we do have the beautiful sun at the end of the line, and the sun is a very bright card. It's really nice to see it on the other side of the whip because it helps overturn the whip. And also the whip is quite as strong. So if we had the whip after the sun, it could have compromised it. So the order here really matters because they're sort of, the whip and sun are sort of on the same level. Now we have a relationship that's clearly in focus. We have the ring and man. And so it looks like this could be the key for you this week. The key events are around this relationship. And also the stork in the center. The stork is about changes and action and events and movement. So it does help pick things up. But I have to say, Taurus, that because of these cards on either side of the stork, there can be an issue that comes up. That's because the whip is often a card of arguments and differences. So earlier here, we have the coffin and rider, and this can suggest the end of a journey or things picking up after a time when things were on hold. So it's very possible that things were sort of sleepy, or you were apart, or not much was happening in the relationship. And then we see the rider, stork, and whip. And I have to say, these are some pretty active cards, Taurus. They're very, especially the whip, it's kind of, it really shakes things up. And so seeing it after the coffin, it sounds like there is an issue, something that comes up. Now, like I said, the whip is a challenging card. And so that thing that comes up can be a problem, an argument, or a situation that causes, a challenge, that brings a challenge your way. And like I said, the sun being at the end of the line is beautiful. The sun is an all-around healing card. It is a success card, and it is a card that helps overcome the whip. So again, really nice to see it in this order. And so even if there's this issue that comes up, it looks like you'll be able to resolve it. Now we've got the man and ring on either side of the stork. So again, this relationship picks up. Now, who this person is, Taurus, is pretty flexible in your context. It's going to depend. But generally, the ring makes the relationship pretty serious or wanting to be serious. It is often a card of commitment and, there's more continuation in the relationship. So things pick up in this relationship. It can move forward, but again, there is something that comes up here. The rider with the man, whip, and ring. And this would be a challenging combination, Taurus. This is often a combination of a breakup, actually. It's not the scythe. The scythe is even more confirming of this. But in the very least, there is an issue that comes up. And we see, again, the rider here that picks things up in the relationship. So it's really like something was dormant and something happens and this issue comes up and, it causes this problem between you and this person. But again, with the sun on the very end of the line is very lovely and helpful to see because it helps overcome these challenges. We have the coffin with the man, sun, and ring, and this is great for a relationship. So in the same way that we have the ring and whip to challenge it, in the outer diamond, we have the ring and sun to overcome it. So it does look like the relationship is saved, and it looks like the relationship comes back. Even if there's an issue that comes up, it's still an opportunity to resolve the issues and nurture this relationship moving forward. The Confident ring can suggest the end of a relationship. And I can't dismiss that this is a possible scenario. A possible scenario, Taurus, is that you release yourself from a relationship and it is very relieving. The other scenario is that after a time of apart or things were on hold, things come up and shake things up between you and this person, but you're able to resolve them. So these are the two scenarios that I can see in the cards. So let me know in the comments which one you think you resonate with best. And also, like I said at the outset, Taurus, who this person is, it depends on your situation. From the cards, we really do not see what kind of relationship, if it's family, personal, work-related, or in some other area of your life. So that is flexible. So bright cards at the end of the day, there can be a bit of a shakeup. Now, one more thing I can add is that the whip can be a sexual card. A lot of people read it as that. And when we have these bright cards around it and these active cards here, it may bring this up. So in this sense, Taurus, it could be really fulfilling when it comes to, this connection with this person here. That's in the context of a personal relationship. But again, like I said, the cards are flexible in the sense we don't really see in what area they figure. So you let me know in the comments. Let me know what you make of this. I look forward to your thoughts as always, Taurus. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Gemini, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's go ahead and draw an extended line of 5 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Gemini, here is your extended line of 5, and we're seeing a few complications. There's a lot of different cards. It's sort of a little bit all over the place. In the center, we have the fox. The fox can point to someone or something deceptive. And I have to say, because of the book and mouse, Gemini, I would watch out about something that could turn out to be a trap. The fox is also the card of jobs, and we have the fish and ship earlier. So these are actually really good cards for a project or an opportunity or something like that. But again, I would watch out for what it involves. And we have the scythe here, which can be a separation. So it can be something that you turn down. So let's back up. We have the fish and ship. These are usually great cards for income, for money, for business. They have to do with sales and seeing the efforts of the results of your efforts. And then we have the fox, which is also great for work, especially with these cards. It points to discipline and being on a consistent path, being productive, getting things done. But on the flip side, the fox does have a challenging side, and it is a side of deception. So this is possible. So you could get an offer or an opportunity. You could also be doing something that turns out to be a little bit disappointing. And we do have the book and mouse on the other side here, which do confirm this. The book is a card of the unknown. And with the mouse, it could be misinformation, something misleading, or something that turns out to have gaps, and things like that, especially with the fox. So it sounds like there were hidden elements, stuff between the lines, the small print and things like that was hiding something that is not so great. And like I said, it could be possibly an offer and you're looking at it and then you discover that it's not good for you, or perhaps in a more challenging scenario, you're already involved with this and there are issues that come up that you need to deal with. Now, the flowers is usually a lovely card, but with the fox, it does point to someone who is someone who's false to your face. So people who who are just nice for the sake of being nice and they don't really mean it. And the thing about the scythe is that it really breaks this spell. So you really see through this, you see through the fakeness, and I think you're gonna make a decision to remove yourself from this. Especially since the scythe is at the bottom, at the bottom side, the bottom part of a layout, it can be associated with the outcomes and the manifest and the tangible stuff that comes out of the situation. So it looks like there's a surprise. You see it for what it is, Gemini, and you decide either no, or you're going to deal with it in some way. Now, looking at the ship, flowers, book, and scythe, this is where we see the discovery. We have the scythe and book, and the scythe clearly breaks the book open. The ship and flowers is very bright, and so we see that things look promising or we're doing well until this thing comes up. The fish with the flowers, mouse, and scythe here can bring up something that is more specifically related to money and finances. There can be some expenses, some sudden expenses, some surprises. And I say that because the mouse is a card of loss and waste often. And so we see it with the scythe. We see it as the corner cards with the fish and also with the flowers. And it is also the last card of the line, Gemini. So again, we're seeing that things were promising, but then there's a surprise or something that comes up, and it turns out to be either disappointing or taxing in some way, or perhaps there are gaps that you need to fix and close. So a few different things can come up depending on what specific scenario you are in or what specific thing you are dealing with. So really watching for the book and mouse and the scythe in different contexts here. In different combinations. And also, Gemini, we've got a key message through the flowers and fox. So this is a really great spread to give you a warning. Okay, it's really alerting you to hidden things, something misleading information, misleading situation. Be careful of hidden expenses, hidden costs, and things like that. Be careful of anything you are not keeping track of. You want to close all the gaps. There can be some bleeding. There can be some issues. So these cards are really good at highlighting, these subtle things or these hidden things that could be working against you. And if this is an offer and you're not in it yet, then this is a very helpful spread, Gemini, that is really warning you against being too quick to approve, agree, or go with it. You want to read everything. You want to find out about everything and to get into the small print, what's between the lines, and everything that is maybe not so readily available to you. So see if you can dig in before you approve anything. And also, Gemini, watch out for people who are over-promising or saying nice words and they don't really mean it. People who are trying to charm you or invite you to this, or maybe even soften the situation. Just be mindful of such people and be aware of their intentions. So a little bit challenging, but not without some helpful advice, Gemini. I certainly hope you see it this way. Let me know how this played out for you. What was the thing here? What was hidden? Did you discover anything? I would love your feedback. Very best of luck with this. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Cancer, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your extended line of 5 and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Cancer, here is your extended line of 5. It's very bright. We have 3 very, very bright cards. The clover right in the center, the key, and sun. And these are 3 of the brightest cards of the deck. We do have the fox at the end. The fox can be tricky and deceptive, but because it's next to the sun and there's nothing else that brings out, that can bring out the challenging side of the fox, this could be really good for you, where you are clever and strategic and you're able to achieve your goals. I have to say, though, that it is a clever, deceptive card. So the way you achieve your goals is through, being smart and tactful and diplomatic. It is also a really good card for jobs, projects, work. And so you could be doing really well in this sense as well. Obviously, with the clover in the middle and the sun and key, we're looking at some very happy outcomes. The clover can be a bit unpredictable, Cancer. So the way things work out may not be what you expected, but see if you can keep an open mind. We have the woman in the card, so there is a relationship and a person in focus. Let's back up here. We have the lily and bear and clover. These can mean a few things. One meaning of this combination is the law, legal things. So if you're dealing with anything legal, you could get your way. It's also a combination for authority, older people who are more senior, or, they have like a more higher up, if you like. And it can represent a person. And in this sense, you probably have their really good support, Cancer. Lots of support from this person. And we see this through the Clover Sun. The Fox advises you to manage this relationship in a smart way, if we're talking about, a manager or someone like that. And also, Cancer, these are great cards for getting promoted, for doing well on the job, in life, improving your status, feeling empowered. These are really great cards for this. Here we've got the Key, Clover, and Woman. This is a lovely relationship, obviously. Two strong, beautiful cards with this woman. Now, who she is flexible. In this diamond here, we see her with the bear. She could be a manager or a boss or someone of influence. And she certainly brings you a lot of support and brings you answers and unlocks doors for you. So a really good opportunity. And if this is about a personal relationship, then it's looking good. But let's hold off a little bit because we have the Fox. So the inner diamond is really bright. The outer diamond, we have the Lily with the Key and Fox and with the Woman. So usually when we see the Fox with a person card, it does warn you against someone who's a bit selfish or self-interested. They might have their own agenda. And the Key and Fox is really great. This is a great combination for being strategic and having a really clever plan. So I'm not so inclined to see the Woman and Fox as outright challenging. She could be someone whom you need to be mindful of, respecting someone more senior, someone of influence. You want them to support you. So you sort of have to, you have to sweeten the deal and do these things. And that's totally fine. I really do think you come out on top. I do think you get the positive answers that you want. And you do, you are able to materialize your goals. So these are some really great cards overall, Cancer. They're great, especially for work, practical things, the more official things, because of the Lily, Bear, and Fox. But they're also really good for a relationship, where someone proves to be supportive and helpful. I have to say, though, like I was saying earlier, I wanted to get to this, that in terms of a personal relationship, love, feelings, the Fox is not really that sort of card. But because of these lovely cards here in the middle, and at the top, it does help soften the Fox. So in terms of a personal relationship, Cancer, it looks like things are progressing and on the right track. There is warm energy through the Sun, Key, and Clover, and it can be an important relationship, but the Fox is just going to ask you to give it a bit more time and also don't mess things up and maintain this tactful and sort of easygoing relationship with this person. Again, the cards are flexible in the sense that they could apply to something at work or something personal. You let me know in the comments, Cancer, who this person is and what was your connection with her or him. And, what was this positive objective that you were able to achieve overall? And what was the Fox? I'd be curious to know how you think the Fox played out in your situation. So very best of luck with this. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Leo, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's go ahead and deal out your line of 5, your extended line of 5, and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Leo, here is your extended line of 5, and it's looking really bright and easy. And there is a really positive message through the Fish and Moon, along with the other supportive cards, of course, that suggests an offer and good things happening on the financial front. In the middle, in the center, we have the Stork. This is a card of activity and action. But even then, I still feel because of these smooth and easygoing cards around the Stork, it's not aggressive action or some kind of an emergency or something happening that is so, it shakes things up like that. But it is a positive step and things picking up in a positive direction. Now, beginning here at the left of the line, we have the Flowers and Book. Along with the Stork, this is a very positive revelation. This is some really good news. Something that maybe you had been waiting for comes back. You get positive feedback. You get some answers. The Rider also supports this because the Rider is a card of news. So along with the book Between the Flowers and the Stork, it's like there's an opening, there's communication, and things pick up in this direction. And the moon really adds to this because the moon is a card of offer and invitations. It is also a really good card for appreciation. And with the rider, there is a messenger here, and it really builds on this idea of a news or an offer or an invitation or positive feedback, compliments, maybe even things like awards and recognition in some way. So really nice cards in this sense. Now we have the tree and fish on either side of the stork, and I really feel that it's the fish that is the most telling card here because it is the card of money, and it can also point to work, jobs, business, some kind of deal, some kind of agreement. And we do see with the stork and fish, it could be what is in focus. The tree is a card of ease and well-being, along with the flowers and moon. But with the stork, it does suggest an improvement, an increase, a step up, possibly even a promotion or some kind of positive change or growth that delivers this abundance that we see through the fish. So these are some really nice cards, Leo. They really suggest an offer. Maybe you get a job offer, you get a project, a customer, some kind of opportunity, and it proves to be really aligned with you. Now, I do think because of the flowers, Leo, which is often a card of things coming back, it can mean that you had been waiting on this. The tree really supports this as well, because the tree is a card of slowness and patience, and it invites you to sort of take a step back and allow things to unfold. Now, looking at the inner diamond here, we have the book, the tree, rider, and fish, and these are also supportive cards. They suggest this growth of knowledge. This is great combination for learning. And the rider and fish is also lovely for this news that has to do with money. It can also be income itself. So the money coming in. The fish and book can suggest some kind of understanding or an agreement. And certainly with the rider, there is this feedback that comes through. So these are really great cards for a positive deal, an improvement with your money, and possibly also learning about these things. The flowers with the tree, moon, and fish is also lovely. This is a very beautiful combination. These are the really soft and gentle cards that we see. And, they sort of, they're at the borders, at the outer borders of your layout. So they really offer this soft and gentle frame to these cards. The flowers and moon is lovely for an offer again. So a lot of combinations are pointing to this. The flowers and tree is very much about blooming, and the tree and moon is also that sense of appreciation. And we see all of these cards, focusing on the fish, which is at the bottom of your layout. And so it can be associated with certain outcomes and the more tangible aspects of what materializes. And because the fish is that card of money and work and business, usually, it is a great set of cards for a job offer, an invitation, a promotion, some kind of opportunity with a good financial side, or possibly a good, some kind of practical benefit. So I think this is the main focus for you this week. Now, if you're not really resonating with this, Leo, and if this is something personal, let's say a relationship, the cards are not really bringing up people, not in a direct way, but they are really nice cards for a warm and kind energy, and possibly also some attraction. With both the moon and fish, there is that element of chemistry and a positive attraction. So these are great cards for things moving forward, things growing and progressing, for good offers, attracting opportunity, and this kind of good coming into your life. And it's all looking really aligned. I mean, the cards are really nice and gentle. So a very positive vibe this week. I certainly hope you attract this good that you could be after, Leo. Let me know in the comments how it played out and what was this lovely opportunity that came your way. Very best of luck with this. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Virgo, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's go ahead and draw your extended line of 5 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Virgo, here is your extended line of 5, and there are some really pretty cards in here. We have the clover, the star, and the sun, and these are very strong wish fulfillment card. We also have the heart in the center, which is great for happiness. And we do have one challenging card, which is the snake, but it is on the left-hand side. So it's really nice to see the very bright cards coming up later on the right. So what's going on here? Let's back up to the beginning of the line. The snake and house is often a challenging combination. This is often a suggestion that there is a toxic energy in a certain space, or that there can be people working against you in this environment, and that there are some hidden elements here. It can also point to things like gossip and things like that. I don't have all the cards for that, but it can be that because of the house, which is a group of people normally. Now, what the house is, it's usually home and family. So it can be that for you, but it can be other spaces as well. Usually the smaller groups, like maybe your gym or a hobby place, or a group of friends, or even your team on the job. So there could be a toxic energy. Now, the rest of the line is really bright. We have the heart, clover, and star. This is a beautiful, all-around positive combination. It's great for healing. It's great for wish fulfillment. It's great for things working out in a really positive way. So whatever the issue here, Virgo, we definitely see a very positive turnaround. The clover can be a little unpredictable. So the way things work out can be a little bit unexpected. So just keep an open mind about this, Virgo. Now, one more thing I can suggest is, because these cards here and on top are so bright, the snake might not be the usual toxic energy that it is. So what it can suggest is that it offers you advice to be smart and roundabout, and also to be a bit of a charmer, so that you can win people over, or, get what you want. It is usually an indirect way to get things. It is the indirect path. So it can require a bit of patience, but it's certainly very good at keeping its eyes on the prize. So that could also be what is suggested by the snake. Now, the beautiful sun at the top, this is one of the brightest cards of the deck. It is an all-around wish fulfillment card, like the star. It is also great for clarity because it shines its light. Then we've got the heart and bird, which is some really good news, mainly because of the sun. The bird can be a bit of an anxious card. It can cause nervousness and maybe a bit of chatter. But because in this beautiful line, we've got the beautiful sun and heart, these are really warm energies, very warm. And so the bird brings this aspect of communication and not so much nervousness and chatter. And it brings positive news, positive communication. So whatever the issue that is brought by the snake, it sounds like you are going to be able to manage this really well. The house with the sun, clover, and bird is some wonderful news, some beautiful outcomes, and also some very positive communication. And again, Virgo, what the house is, what is that space exactly in your context? It depends. But we're seeing wish fulfillment, positive connections, and some really beautiful and warm energies. The snake with the sun, star, and bird, it would be this combination here that's a little bit tricky. It can point to chatter. It can point to gossip and things going on behind your back. That's possible. But we also have the sun and star, especially with the star on the right-hand side of the line. It is a very positive outcome. So if there is a challenge, if there is someone working against you, in the very least, Virgo, in the very least, you're able to neutralize this person or this situation. But I think it's more than just that. I think there's a very beautiful turnaround, and there are very positive outcomes. And like I suggested as well, Virgo, if the snake is about you and how you approach this with a smart and clever way, you're going to be able to charm the birds of the trees. You're going to be able to say the right things at the right time. You're going to communicate nicely. You're going to have these supportive interactions, and you're patient all throughout, and you're able to come out with what you want. So really nice cards across the board. Now the cards, they're focused on feelings because of the heart and these warm energies. And the house can be about relationships. So we could be looking at a personal relationship. That is a lovely message here, where maybe you're getting to know this person, or you're spending some really good times together. I have to say, in this context, the snake can be quite sensual and sexual. So maybe there's a really good connection in this sense. But what I meant to say is that the cards don't really specify in what context, despite the feeling, cards of the heart. They could be happiness in any place, at home, at work, in some other group or some other space that you're involved with, there's some beautiful news, beautiful turnaround, and lovely outcomes here. I would say, just as a takeaway advice, Virgo, with the heart in the center, it's a good idea to go with how you feel and align with that, and to do the things that you want to do if it applies in this context. I also think the snake also offers a helpful piece of advice here, really being cautious and calculated and not jumping the gun, especially with a card like the bird, which is prone to being a little bit all over the place and nervous and causing anxiety and things like that, and being chattery. So the snake really helps temper that. So manage your communication with kindness and consideration, but also with a clever mindset, so that you can achieve your goals. And that can apply in any number of contexts. So let me know what you make of this, Virgo. Let me know what this space was and what the snake, especially, how it played out for you. I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Libra. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your extended line of 5 and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Libra, here is your extended line of 5, and we have some really pretty cards. We have the clover right in the center, and we have the star and the sun, and all 3 cards are very beautiful and very happy, wish-fulfilling cards. The clover in the center is definitely going to brighten things up in this position, but I have to say, Libra, that the clover can be a little bit unpredictable. It is the card of chance, even though it's also very bright. So the idea is that things work out, but in a way that might not be fully expected. So just keep an open mind. Earlier here, we have the whip and stars. So the whip is a challenging card. In fact, it's the most challenging card of the deck. But with the star, it is very much about healing, and the star helps turn this around. The whip is on the left, and these bright cards come after. So this is a really good sign. With the clover in the middle, it really adds to the brightness of the star. And what we see here is the rider and road. And both cards are about movement and travel. And so it's very clear that whatever the challenge that is brought by the whip, you're able to overcome it and move forward. So this is lovely because it opens up your path and it opens up opportunity, and it gives you also a sense of freedom. Both the road and rider are very much about freedom and letting go and moving on. Now here we have the man, which is a person, and so it brings up a relationship in the layout. And with the beautiful clover and sun, it's clear that this is a wonderful relationship. So it's possible that the issues that you've experienced have to do with this person, or it affects both of you. But clearly the relationship is on a beautiful footing, and there's a really good connection. So if there was a challenge between the two of you, it's clear that you're able to resolve it. You're able to move past the issues and move forward in the relationship. And the column here is very supportive. The star with the man, rider, and sun is very similar to what we just saw. It was the clover sun, and here it's the star and sun. So it's a wonderful relationship. And again, things move forward. And with the whip, man, road, and sun, it's similar to what we saw. We have the whip on the left. So it's really about moving past the challenges and embracing this relationship. So really nice cards for a relationship. Now, it seems to me this is a bit of a personal relationship. I'm not seeing work cards or business cards, even family and things like that. It can be, of course, but we're seeing these warmer cards, that tend to be about a more personal relationship or a friendship. So I feel this is the primary context for who this person is. But of course, Libra, there's many Librans out there. It could be anyone. But the idea with these cards, I think it's a pretty good connection. It could be family in your work or some other person in your life with whom maybe you have a challenge that comes up, but then you're able to move forward in a very beautiful and healing way. So really nice cards. I would say a takeaway here, Libra, is if the challenge feels a bit difficult, don't get sucked into it. Focus on the positivity and the optimism here, because it's soon going to turn around and it looks like it's going to be very, very okay. So let me know what you make of these cards, Libra. Let me know who this person is and what the whip was specifically for you. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and perspective. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Scorpio, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's go ahead and deal out your cards and see what is ahead for you this week. Okay, Scorpio, here is your extended line of 5, and it's this combination, isn't it? The ring and snake. This is a really tricky one. And it's usually negative, but I have to say that the rest of the cards are really bright. And we start off this line here with the beautiful star, and the star is an all-around healing, happy card. In the center, we have the garden. So this is a community or an environment or an event, a gathering. It's a social card. It brings up, this idea of being engaged and involved with people and places. And it looks like the relationship comes out of this space. So let's begin at the beginning. We've got the star and tower. This is about healing the past. The tower is often related to the past and the long term. And with the star, there can be a letting go or some kind of healing. It's also more likely, in view of what comes next, that the tower points to a place from the past, or maybe a place you've had a long-term connection with. And it's also likely that a place that you aspire to be part of because of the tower and garden could materialize. The tower is also a more official kind of card, so it tends to represent corporations, business environments, even the workplace, places like that. So maybe there's a meeting with someone in such a situation or such a context. Now, with the ring and garden, there's definitely a key relationship that is in focus. So it's not just the public at large or, the community at large. The ring tends to focus on a one-on-one relationship. So from this environment, you're connecting with someone in there. Now, the snake is pretty tricky, and the snake in relationships is often deceptive. It is, in fact, the card of cheating. Now, I have to say that I don't have any challenging cards. It's really just a snake. So this toxic aspect of the snake or the deceptive aspect of the snake is not really emphasized. Instead, when we see the diamond here, it could actually turn to a more positive energy. So something to keep in mind is that this relationship, this key relationship here, Scorpio, you have to be really careful with. This is someone who's not saying everything they have on their mind. There's a lot of secrecy here. And it could also be an illicit relationship. So I have to throw this out there. There can be a third party because the snake is a card of cheating. So it can maybe refer to the other person, or you could be that person, Scorpio. That is a possibility. Now, the tree and moon are very bright cards. And with the garden, there's a really beautiful, peaceful energy here. This is about relaxing, enjoying some good times. And there's a lot of passive energy here. So really just letting go and enjoying this space. The moon can also point to an invitation. And with the ring, it often is. So this can be an invitation to meet with someone, to connect with someone, or perhaps you're applying for a job or something, and you could get an interview or, have an opportunity to meet. So this is lovely. Now, the tower with the tree, ring, and moon is a lovely combination. This is great. This is all about growth and commitment and the long term, and also appreciation and, also, I would say living up to the expectations. The star with the tree, snake, and moon is also a soft and very quiet energy. The tree and snake is a brighter combination. It is often a combination of wisdom. And as the corner cards here, the star and snake is certainly going to help turn the snake to a more positive card. The moon and snake can also be nice and gentle, but there is always, the moon with the more challenging cards, it's more like the dark side of the moon that can come through. So overall, the balance of the cards are really bright, and they certainly help minimize any toxic energy from the snake. But it's still a good idea to be cautious and kind and gentle and to tread carefully. And also it helps to be aware that maybe not not everyone has the same intentions as you. You want to remain sharp and aware. I'm not seeing that you mess up the relationship or that you say no or that you compromise or anything like that, but it sounds like things are still in the works and they're still evolving. So you don't want to rush to any conclusion. You don't want to get overexcited or underexcited or to be quick to trust and so forth. So keep a good balance, enjoy this relationship and allow things to unfold. And like I said, there is that possibility of it being a third party, or you being that third party. So I can't really tell how the rest of the, how the other dynamics are. But in terms of yours, because these are the cards, maintain discretion. And like I said, it's not really a time to jump to conclusions or to act on anything. It sounds like it's more about things forming, the relationship forming, the whole energy coming together here. So that is a key thing that we're seeing. Now, another thing that comes to mind is that the snake can point to envy. And so you can have some envious people in your environment. When I see these cards earlier, when we have the beautiful star and tower, tree and garden, tree and tower, there is a clear message of growth and success and honors and appreciation here. So it's also possible, Scorpio, that you're doing rather well and that maybe some people envy you for that. So if you have this possibility in your scenario, I would say there's no need to toot your horn or to rub it in anyone's face, if you see what I mean. Just keep it calm, be aware of other types, and just enjoy this very positive energy and otherwise really enjoy this unfolding. So generally a very beautiful spread. Just a call for caution here about certain people or a certain relationship dynamic that asks you to take it easy at this time. Let me know what you make of this lovely spread, Scorpio. I certainly hope you resonate with it in this way. I look forward to your feedback if you're willing to share. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Sagittarius, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your extended line of 5 and see what is in store for you. Okay, Sagittarius, here is your extended line of 5, and it's quite a challenging line because of the whip and ring at the end on this side here. We also have the cross in the middle. So these cards here are nice and gentle, but the ones on the right are challenging. And clearly they bring up a relationship. We not only have the ring, but we also have the man. So this brings up the person aspect. And the ring is usually about relationships, but it doesn't have to be. It can be about commitments. But when we have a person card, and on top of that, we have the heart, which has to do with feelings, we're most probably looking at a specific relationship here. Now, the cross in the middle is also a bit challenging. It can have a bright side, but with these cards, I'm more inclined to think that the more difficult aspects of the cross come through. And the cross is about decisions and also tests. So your relationship could be tested here. And it can also point to the burdens and the challenges and probably also some decisions, if not sacrifices, that you need to make. So backing up here, we have the man and bird and cross. So this sounds like an important conversation that you need to have, or perhaps there is some news or some communication that comes through that causes you to think through this relationship. And with the whip and ring, and we also have the cross and whip, this is a challenging triplet. It points to challenges in the relationship and possibly even a break-off. So that is possible. But I can't really make this conclusion so firmly because we have these beautiful cards on either side of the cross. We have the flowers with the heart, and these are lovely for feelings and happiness and also attraction, if not flirting and things like that. And with the cross, there can be a healing or some kind of forgiveness thing going on here. And when we look at the diamonds, we do see that there is a good chance, Sagittarius, that you could overcome the challenges here and save the relationship. So the inner diamond has the whip. This is the more challenging line. We have the bird, flowers, whip, and heart. This is probably something hurtful and difficult, and it likely suggests an argument. And, with the bird, there is this conversation aspect. But with the man, flowers, ring, and heart, this is a very beautiful set of cards. It's great for the relationship. The flowers is a card of renewal, so it suggests things coming back, and that's why it's often associated with forgiveness. And we have the heart and ring, the heart and man, and the flowers that connects with these cards as well. So despite the challenges, it looks like there is a good prospect here, Sagittarius, to overcome them and save the relationship. I have to add that the whip can be a sexual card. And if things are fine, and we're not seeing the challenging aspect of the whip, this can be part of the fulfillment and the positive cards that we see here. That is possible. Now, it's my feeling that this is a personal relationship. We have these flirty cards and these emotional cards. So it seems to be more on the feeling side, the more personal side. But of course, it can apply in different contexts for you, Sagittarius. It depends on your specific circumstances. Apart from the feeling personal side, we don't really have other indications. We're not seeing work, money, anything legal, administrative, even family, and things like that. So it's up to you if you see this relationship and the dynamics that we see in these cards apply in a different context. That's totally fine. I'd like to hear from you. So let me know in the comments. So again, Sagittarius, despite some challenges, there are good prospects for recovery here and for saving the relationship. Let me know what you decide at the end of the day. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and perspective. So very best of luck with this. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Capricorn, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your extended line of 5 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Capricorn, here is your extended line of 5. We have the ring in the cards in the center, and the ring is a card of relationships or commitment. We also have the dog, which is a card of friends, so this relationship aspect is more emphasized. And we have the garden, which tends to be associated with people because it is a social card and it points to community gatherings and events and things like that. So even though most of the cards are neutral, except the lovely flowers at the top, it seems to be bubbly and busy with people and probably fun as well. So backing up here, we have the child and road, and this clearly points to a new direction, a new phase, or a new path. And we see it with the ring and dog and bird. So you could be getting to know someone, you could be making a new friendship or a new connection in some other area of your life. It certainly sounds exciting. The birds is exciting, and it's often a card of conversation. So it sounds like you spent some time, chatting with this person, getting to know them, and just spending some good times with them. Now, the ring and dog, quite interestingly, can suggest a love relationship that is growing out of a friendship. And it can also suggest people who are closer to you, like siblings or, like someone who's pretty close to you on the job, for example. But typically, the ring and dog can suggest something deepening here. Now, the flowers and garden on either side of the ring are exciting cards. This points to spending time together and possibly also flirting, if this is a love relationship. And it is also a combination for having fun and enjoying good times. So really nice for spending time with friends or people, or maybe one specific person. It's also great for getting to know someone better or meeting new people altogether. So really nice cards. The road with the flowers, dog, and garden adds to what we said. Like we said, the garden is about people, and with the dog, it confirms this, element of community and friendship. And with the flowers and road, it's very much about being open to fun and adventure, and really just letting go and having some good times with others. The child with the flowers, bird, and garden is similar. These are definitely cards for fun. You could be going somewhere busy, if not noisy, and, enjoying good times there. And the child can suggest that it's either a new place altogether, or perhaps you're reconnecting with some folks or some environment. And that's because the flowers is a card of return and things coming back into the picture. It's often about forgiveness and healing and, this idea of the blooms that come after winter and spring. So really nice cards for relationships, close relationships, community, really good cards for enjoying good times. And I think really just kicking back, Capricorn, if you can. You could also be making time or going places with a specific relationship here. So it's a great week for prioritizing people and focusing on certain relationships here and enjoying good times. Now, my feeling is that this is more informal, that this has to do with your personal life, but of course they can apply in other contexts. They're great for work and colleagues, you know, having, being a good team player, being engaged in your work and your activity with others. They're great cards for this. And really this dynamic applies in any context. If it's family, you know, you're doing things with the family. If this is about other people or groups in your life, you could be connecting with them in the same way. So regardless of the kinds of relationships or the context for these relationships, it's still a lovely reading for socializing, for connecting with others, and for investing yourself in these relationships that matter. And it is also an encouragement to go out and meet people and to connect with them. So have some fun this week, regardless of the context, Capricorn. Have some fun with these connections. Enjoy the connection. Get to know people. Be open, you know, and have fun in the process. And if this is about a personal relationship or a one-on-one love relationship, then it also looks really warm and fun and beautiful. So enjoy this time, nurture it, you know, and just enjoy the process without having expectations. Let me know what you make of these lovely cards, Capricorn. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Aquarius, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's go ahead and deal out your extended line of 5 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Aquarius, here is your extended line of 5. And it has some positive cards, but it also has some tricky cards. Mainly the fox in the middle with the snake and a person card, which suggests someone who is not easy to deal with, and I'm tempted to say someone dishonest. On top of this, we have the whip at the beginning of the line, which does bring challenges. It's nice to see the key afterwards, but because of this middle column, it remains a bit sensitive, okay? So even though it looks like there's a solution, a resolution, there's still a bit of sensitivity around the issue, whatever that may be specifically for you. And here we're seeing a more peaceful energy. So let's back up to the beginning. We've got the whip, which is a challenging card. It points to problems, any kind of problem, usually quarrels, disagreements, arguments, and any sort of challenge. So that's going to depend on what exactly manifests for you. Now, the key is a card of solutions. It's great. It's a great card. It's about success, solutions. It's also very smart and intelligent. So it tells us that there is going to be a solution to this problem. So that's a good thing. The key and fox is also a really nice combination. It is a great combination for strategy and being smart. So it sounds like you definitely know how to deal with this, and you're definitely going to find a solution. At the same time, the fox is a deceptive card. It points to someone who is self-interested and who has their own agenda. And it also calls for being calculated and calm and, you know, diplomatic, especially with people. The tree and garden is lovely for a peaceful state. It's usually a combination for nature and going outdoors and spending time like this. Now, I'm not seeing this is directly what it's about in view of the cards earlier in the line, but it is a really good combination for taking it easy, letting this go, and not stressing too much about the issues with this person. When we see the snake and fox next to the man, it's definitely someone who is questionable, Aquarius, and it's definitely someone who has their own agenda, in the very least. Usually these cards, they point to someone who's dishonest, who lies, and who is probably working against you. Now, the thing about the tree and garden is that they're really not confrontational, and so I'm thinking here that you're able to disarm this person, and that you're able at least to create some kind of protection around you. You know, you're not really worried about what they are and who they are, because you probably have things under control, you know, within your own boundaries. It's still good to be cautious around this person, Aquarius. Beware of trusting them too easily. Be aware that they have their intentions, their own intentions. And at the same time, there's no need to be confrontational. In fact, the opposite seems to work here, where being calm and strategic and diplomatic is what's going to go a long way. Now, the key with the snake, tree, and man is similar to what we said. The snake and tree is not so challenging, and same with the key and snake. In fact, it brings out the clever and wisdom aspect of the snake. So this is what's going to work with this person. And also, it can point to a relationship that is maybe a bit sensitive and difficult, especially if there was a challenge earlier, but it can still grow and move forward if you're calm and you know things are cautious. The whip with the snake is a bit more challenging. This typically points to the snake bite, and we saw this earlier where there was a challenge that is going to be resolved. The snake and garden, along with the man, this definitely warns you against a trap or something working against you, probably this person. We're still seeing that you're dealing with them. That's the thing about the tree and garden, and despite the energy around this person, despite the issues that you've had with him, you're still dealing with them. So again, the fox being central, you're managing this and you're taking it easy. And again, I feel that, you know, the tree and garden, they're so calm and settled that I'm not so sure how much this has affected you, Aquarius, or is affecting you. I think you're pretty aware of this person, what they're like. Yes, there was a challenge, but it was solved decently, at least. And now you can just move on and, you know, sort of contain this relationship and do your thing. Now, these cards can apply in different contexts. We could be looking at a personal relationship where, again, you're leaving things to be peaceful. It can be about the job because the fox is a card of work. And here there could be some challenges, either with a colleague, a customer, or whoever, really, in the context of your work and depending on how you work. Here you want to focus on solutions and on managing this relationship carefully and taking it easy as well. So again, the tree and garden, really nice to see at the end of the line because they are so neutral compared to these cards that it's like they shield you, you know, from the energy of this person. So these dynamics can apply in any context. That's what I'm getting at, whether it's personal, professional, maybe family, or in some other area. Take it easy, see the problem for what it is, work on a solution as much as possible, and then really, Aquarius, don't bend over backwards for this person. Manage them carefully and take care of yourself and, you know, feel good and relax. Let me know how this plays out for you. I'm really curious, Aquarius, who this person is and, you know, how you resolve the issues and how you're managing them moving forward. It'd be interesting to know your perspective if you're willing to share. So very best of luck with this. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Pisces, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your extended line of 5 and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Pisces, here is a lovely spread. We have the beautiful sun in the middle. The sun is one of the brightest cards of the deck. It is all around happiness, healing, success, all of the good things the sun captures. So it's like a broad, happy, positive card. We also have the moon, which, by the way, with the sun is a combination of love, classically. We have the woman, we have the child. We could be looking at a new relationship or a renewal in a relationship. Now, who this woman is, we're not seeing from the cards. There are no cards that tell us whether this is personal, professional, money related, family, or in whatever context. So the cards can affect any area, and you can let me know, Pisces. So the woman, tree, and sun is a beautiful development. This is wonderful for growth and a positive evolution. It's certainly great for the relationship. The tree is about steadiness and it grows roots. And with the sun, obviously, this is blooming. So it's a really nice combination for a relationship. With the stork and child, there's a new beginning. something picks up, you're able to move forward in a certain direction. I have to say also, Pisces, that the stork and child is the classical combination for pregnancy. So if this applies to you, and it might not because it's kind of specific, but if it applies to you, then this is a wonderful message. And what's interesting is that we have the sun and moon as well, and this is often a combination of love through the archetypal association of the sun with the masculine and the moon with the feminine. The road here is about forward movement, the journey ahead, a bit like with the stork. The road can point to leaving, but because of the positive feeling and the positive connection here and the tree, it's not so much leaving, it's about pursuing this journey. Now, if this column is not about a relationship, it's definitely great for being on the right track, pursuing the things that make you happy, that are aligned with your goals, with your ambitions, and your vision. So these are some really, really nice cards. Now the tree with the moon, stork, and road, there can be some changes here, Pisces. The stork and road can be a move. You could be making a step up. You could be making some improvements. You could also get some appreciation, some really positive feedback. We could be looking at a promotion. We could be looking at an improvement in any area of your life. There are certainly cards that encourage you to keep moving forward. You are on the right track, and you are going to achieve your goals. Certainly the sun supports that. The woman with the moon, child, and road very much tells us about this relationship. This is a new phase in a relationship, or a new relationship altogether. So the child with the road and the woman with the road encourage you to pursue this relationship. The moon is a gentle card, it's a passive card, and it's really good for attraction and positive chemistry without negative cards, of course. So it's really encouraging for this relationship, and you could be exploring this relationship. You could be getting the support of someone for your growth, for your projects. It's really nice to engage with this relationship and also engage in your projects, in your goals as you achieve them. So these are some really nice cards. They're also really easygoing. It sounds like you're on the right track across the different levels, the different areas of your life, Pisces. Great for achievement, great for relationship, great for adventure, great for changes. And like I said, the cards are not focused on any specific area. The moon and sun can bring up a more personal relationship, but it's still a bit loose. So these improvements, these adventures, and this wonderful new beginning and this success can apply in any area of your life, or maybe your life more broadly. So enjoy these positive vibes, enjoy this relationship, keep going, you're on the right track. And if you are pursuing some new things, then this is definitely a good week for it. Let me know what you make of this lovely spread, Pisces. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself.